Today we're going to be doing a bit of work on this thing. Now, if you didn't watch the previous video, I picked this thing up on Facebook Marketplace for $1,000. It had a blown up motor in it. We've replaced it with a Chinese copy. Got it running, got it working, but there's a few other little things we've got to do before we can put it back to work. It needs a couple seal kits put in the cylinders. I already went ahead and pulled this one off because I had to get the numbers off that cylinder so I could get the seal kits ordered. I want to give it a full hydraulic flush, mainly because of the poor design of this cap here. This is where you fill it up and there's no O-ring or anything to seal it. And as you can see in here, like, look at all that dirt that's just come out of there. So I'm hoping the inside of that tank's not as bad as the inside of that cap. And sort of, I want to give a good once over. They're very prone to wearing in these top pins. So I want to pull them out, pull the arm forward and just see what the state of these bushings are like. Now this machine doesn't actually have greasable bushings. With this cylinder here, it's actually got no bushing, so it's more of a throwaway cylinder once it's worn out. And in the top back arms up here, and I think in the bottom arm here, it's got like a composite fiber bushing, so there's no greasing. It's sort of good, but it's sort of bad. Once that bushing wears out, you tap that one out and tap a new one in. But generally what happens in the back there, because you can't see it and the weight of the bucket keeps the arm pulled down, you can't really see the play in the back there. Like, I've operated one of these before and it had over an inch of play in the back arm here. So I don't think this one's like that. I sort of checked it when I had the arm up the first time I was operating it. So I think what we'll do later on is we'll tap these bushings out, just move the arm forward with the machine just to double check them, and if we have to, we'll just replace that composite bushing. But I also went ahead and got a brand new battery for it. I went and put rubber around the battery just because it sort of tends to flop around a little bit in there, which is not ideal. But overall, a couple little things and this thing should be pretty much ready to go. So let's get stuck into it. Put some new grease in there. I reckon just a slight bend. Something like that, I think. No, we might need more. Right, I put a fair bit of a bend in it now. That should be plenty, I think. Yeah, that's better. Perfect. And it's nice and tight now. Second one done. I'll just make sure that's tight. On the newer model Dingo, you can actually pull this shaft out from while it's on the machine, where this one, it doesn't have the hole in the back, so you can't do that. So we're just going to have to undo this fitting here, that bottom fitting and that fitting, and just pull it off the machine and do it on the bench, which I always like doing stuff on the bench anyway, because it's clean and you can give it a good clean up when it's out of the machine rather than when it's on the machine. Sometimes you can blow more crud and crap in there, but so it turns out these all screw into each other, so you can't just unscrew this float valve like this valve here like I thought I was going to. So I just pretty much unscrewed everything and pulled it forward. So now we have full access to the back and we can pull that shaft out. That was our problem there. So this seal, this O-ring normally went on the bottom, but as you can see, it's all brittle as well, and the end of this keeper's, that's gone as well. So let's replace that. We'll give it a bit of a clean up though before we put it back in. So now we can put this back on the machine. These ones go on once we slide it through. Now we should be able to flip it up. And we've got access to our other side now. Bit of hydraulic oil on that, help it go in. And there we go. There's another O-ring. A little bit of choke, a little bit of throttle. Previously that would have been leaking, you'd be able to see it dripping in there, so I'd say that's fixed. Now we just got to tackle the two cylinders. I had a hell of a time bashing this pin out. You can see where I've sort of messed up the end there. I think what we'll do is, while the pin's almost out, we'll bash it out, and we might just get the die grinder with a sander on it, because it is that tight. It shouldn't be that tight, and if you can see in there, it's all rusted on the inside, so we might just take that rust off and then just see if the pin sort of is a nice snug fit then. Definitely need gloves for this one. It should not be that tight, that's crazy. Doesn't help that I've got a bend in this. I'll be losing. So I've come up with a plan. I found this bottle jack in the shed, and it's just small enough that we should be able to, if it's that way, should be able to squeeze it in there somehow, I'm hoping. Try and press that pin out. I was going to get the oxy out and try and heat it all up, but I'll try this first, that way I won't have to waste gas. With a bit of luck, where you need 3 hands. And a proper jack handle instead of a cut bolt. Tight. Dingo. I probably should have thought of that first before I went and started belting the other end with a hammer, but I was trying to drive it back through to try and clean it up a little bit. Again, there's next to no wear in this. This is actually surprisingly pretty good. I might just try and straighten this end up, or even just cut off that flat bit and just weld a new one on. But man, that was tight. It's going to be hard to tell without a light, but you can see all the rust in there. I reckon if I just get a nice sanding bit on the die grinder, that should clean up nice. See, look at that, that's all it needed. Just got to do a bit of that inside. Look at that. I was going to use the die grinder, but the bits I have are a little bit too aggressive. Like, that's just taking the rust out of there. I didn't want to take any of the material out, because then your pin will get a bit floppy and cause premature wear. So I'm almost tempted to leave the other side, because the pin's easy to push through. I can tap at that last bit and that's going to hold it nice and snug. The main part was sliding it out this rest of the way. So I might do it a little bit, and that's pretty good. I'm going to leave it at that, I think. I'm happy with that. Alright, now if I pick that up, that's gonna, yep, shoot oil everywhere. Oh. The only thing I got is this. It's not the right size, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Now I'll just quickly pull this off. That's how the pin's supposed to come out. So you can see down here how it's that material, and we've still got heaps of material on there, but our pin is just a little bit, like, I mean, it's not, side to side is always going to be worse than the whole thing going in and out, but like with how much material I still got left on there, and the pin's not even, like, the pin shouldn't wear at all, that material should wear out first. I'm going to leave that because I've still got a good almost 5 mil of material left. Okay, the set I've got are a bit broken, so we're going to have to stack some pipes together. Oh, look at that, it's loose. Now that pin's stuck in there again. That'd be right. Oh, see, look at that. So ribs face forward. Oh, there's actually a it's going to be very hard to tell. There's actually a lip there, like it's been way over tightened or something. And I'm going to have to get a bit of emery paper on that. I don't want to file. I could probably file the edge off because it literally won't come off. Hopefully that's, oh, look at that. The seal's just disintegrating. There's nothing left of it. Look at that, it's just crumbling in my hands. Well, there's the seal. It's literally just crumbling. The kit they sent me was wrong, so I had to go to my local store and get the seals from there. So we got new pressure seal, new wiper seal, and a new O-ring on the outside. Now I'm gonna leave this. There's minimal wear on their wear bands, and that's not going to be a problem. Replacing that in my eyes would be silly. Just a bit of hydraulic oil that's drained out of it. I'll just make sure that's all oiled up. Put a bit of oil on our new O-ring. So it doesn't come loose. if you can't really see in there, but there's a coating of rust in there, and I'd say that's from sitting for so long, the moisture in there. Let's crook it now, straighten it up. Come out easy. Like before, see, this one's loose. I don't actually think that's been over tightened. That's why it's mushroomed that out. I think because that piston's loose, it's hammered at it. Because the other one was so much looser, I think that's why it was so much more mushroomed. Because however many years of him tilting that cylinder, it's just been hammering at the top of that shaft there. This one was nowhere near as bad as the other one, but I'm glad I can fix that up. Now, this wear band, I think I'm just going to replace both wear bands on this one. You can see that one there, how it's sort of peeled over the edge. And we'll just have to get some wet and dry paper and just clean up that cylinder down there, and that should be good to go. So I'll clean everything up. I'm going to go to my seal store and get some new wear bands. That center seal there still feels fine, and we'll be able to put it all back together. And again, with this gland nut, you can see in there how bad it is in there. That huge hole there, it's just totally falling apart. I bet you if I put a screwdriver in there, it'd just crumble like the other one did. Still got to get the new wear bands for these. That kit, these seals were actually alright the size, so I've just got to get wear bands. That's ready to go back together. So I went and got the new wear bands, which you see they put them on there when they were measuring them up, and also with this O-ring here. So we'll give this end a little bit of a clean up, and this is ready to go back together. So just while we're here, I think we'll just tighten this up too. Might as well check this side while we're here. Yeah, that's nice and tight. This like comes apart, I think. Oh, look at that. That is soaked in hydraulic fluid. I think we'll give this a bit of a clean up first. So if we look there now, you can see the oil is just there, which that's perfect. Those bushings still look fine. Being material, it will frayed like that, but there's still plenty of meat on there. Alright, we can put that back together now. Well, that's going to do it for the maintenance on this. I'm glad we got that hydraulic oil done because that had a fair bit of water in it. Our pins and bushings, I was afraid this one was going to be quite worn, but it's got minor wear in it. We've got our cylinders all resealed, so no more leaks. And I know a few will be saying, why didn't I do this cylinder as well? Like, surely the piston would be loose in this one, but similarly is it's not leaking. Like, I don't want to, why mess with it if it's not broken, is sort of the famous saying. And if it's anything like the other one, it wouldn't be far off leaking anyway. So whether it leaks after we use it for a little bit and I do it then, that was sort of my thoughts. And also I was going to tension up these chains, but this side's fine. Like that's enough slack in that chain. That you wouldn't want to be much tighter than that. But on the other side here, this one is very loose, and I'd say what normally happens is rocks get caught in the chain and then they go through the sprocket and it just stretches them out. So it's pretty common with these, especially because it's an exposed chain when you're going through rock and heavy debris. So it's bound to happen. But so the last thing we've got to do on this project is just fix up that 4-in-1 bucket. So let's go tackle that.